Hello. So now we are a couple of days into the new normal. For some of us, that means that we're able to go back to work, or there are other freedoms that we have this week that we didn't have last week. For some of us, we are still working at home. I'm very fortunate that I still have work that I can do at home. For others, we are still furloughed and not able to go out and do the things that we want to do. And as time goes on, it becomes harder to remain faithful. That initial passion, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to spend the time doing the things that I know I should be doing. I'm going to pray more. I'm going to read my Bible more. That initial determination becomes hardest to sustain. And God knows that. Especially as it seems that an end, perhaps not the end, but an end, is in sight. Or maybe for you it feels it's in the vanishing distance. Maybe you're one of those people who is beginning to realise that you're going to have to be in lockdown for a very long time. Nonetheless, the devil knows that. Oh yes, he is a real person, and he is the one who brings you temptation. And as our lives alter slightly, the temptation is not to maintain the disciplines that we've set up for ourselves. The devil knows this. I notice in my own city there is a group that is encouraging a meeting in a couple of parks to celebrate. In defiance of the COVID-19 lockdown, bring a picnic, play some music, because we don't want to be doing this anymore. I don't know what your lockdown has been like. For me, it's given me more time to think and to read and to pray. And I don't want to lose those things if and when there comes a time when my life goes back to a pattern that was more recognisable from 6 months ago. If we look to Jesus as our pattern, as our guide, Jesus often withdrew. He spent a lot of time with his friends. He preached to great crowds. But in the meantime, he often withdrew to mountain tops, to quiet places, or stayed up all night just to pray. There's a back and forth pattern in the life of Jesus of withdrawal and prayer and engagement with other people. Now we're missing that engagement with other people at the moment. We have only the prayer. And the temptation is, when lockdown finishes for us, that we will rush into the arms of our families and friends, rush back to the activities that we formerly did, and lose that discipline of withdrawal and prayer. In fact, so ingrained was the pattern in Jesus' life that it's the first thing that he did when he came into his ministry. He withdrew into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, and he fasted, and he spent time with his Father God. And at the end of those 40 days, the Bible tells us that the devil came to him. Just like us, at the end of that time, when Jesus was hungry for food, just as we are hungry for engagement with other people and normality, whatever that may look like, the devil will come to us. Just as the devil came to Jesus and he said, "If you are the Son of God, command this stone to become a loaf of bread." But Jesus answered him, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone. Worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Our temptations multiply just at the point where it looks like we can go back to something that is more like normal. Just at the point where we are desperately hungry, perhaps possibly really proud of ourselves for doing the things that we should have done, the devil will appear and tempt us. And we have to remember what are the important things in our life as Christians. For Jesus, that was prayer and worship and being with his Father, and we can see that in the pattern of his life. For us as Christians, that should also be what motivates us. A pattern of engagement and withdrawal. That could be daily, that could be weekly, it could be monthly, but that pattern needs to be there. Just as it looks like we might be able to begin to go back to some of our activities, don't let the devil snatch away what you have gained during the last 6 or 8 weeks. Don't let that voice in your head say, "Oh, but you don't really have to do that anymore, do you?" We do not live by bread alone, but we live by worship of God. However your life changes or doesn't change, be aware that the devil prowls round like a lion waiting to snatch away what we have gained. Trust in God. Trust in his patterns of life. And if life never goes back to what we would consider normal, ensure that whatever pattern your life takes, there is a pattern of withdrawal and engagement. Time with God, time alone, and time with others. Stay safe.